For as long as I can remember, I had always been terrified of something. I started reading Simone de Beauvoir's Memoirs of a Dutiful Daughter, and I had just read this part. As soon as I could walk, Mama had taken me to church. She had shown me in wax, in plaster, and painted on walls portraits of the child Jesus, of God, of the Virgin, and of the angels. My heaven was constellated with a myriad of benevolent eyes. Growing up, I was the glass child. My parents treated me like an adult, fit to take care of herself. Most afternoons after school, when my classmates and I were done playing, I would go home to an empty house. And so I often spoke to myself, which I never admitted to anyone. But then I would catch myself. What an oddity it must be to see a kid having a conversation with the wind, with the walls, her stuffed toys. I would look up at the same corner of the bedroom as if there were a camera there. To my family, I was the good kid, obedient, and almost never complained. What people did not know was that I kept myself in line in fear of judgment. What would God say to me if he knew I did not put my toys back in place? If he saw me smoke a cigarette? Even in my own mind, I did not feel safe. The eyes of omniscient and ever-present powers haunted the deepest abyss of my subconscious. What if they tell my family that I never wanted to be a doctor, or an engineer, or pursue a practical career? If the eyes would not scold me into submission, certainly they would. As someone who wants to work in a creative field, I would often find myself shaking in fear. My imposter syndrome is at its peak the second before I post a video, or a photo, or anything really. To be perceived is one of my greatest fears. What if they knew that my talents are all founded on pretense? I cannot for the life of me sever my ties to my work. What if the myriad of eyes disapprove? What if they don't care? What if they see me trying my hardest, only for me to fall flat on my face? I wish I never looked up at the chiseled, perfectly formed beings lying on floating clouds with angels that played golden trumpets in annunciation of their presence, at the marbled statues with their hands locked together in perpetual prayer at the end of the pews. How do I tell her, the kid I was at age 8, that it is okay to unload this yoke which I can never seem to let down still? How do I tell her it is okay to speak to oneself? How do I tell her it is safe?